Hey, RV Connects family. Welcome back to another episode of RV Connects, where we fuel your wanderlust and help you make the most of your RV adventures, one trip at a time. Today, we are diving into one of our favorite ways to shake off the winter blues and get pumped for the upcoming camping season, RV shows. That's right, we are talking about why you need to put an RV show on your 2025 travel calendar. And we're not just talking about any show. We're shining a spotlight on the Toronto Spring Camping and RV Show, happening February 27th to March 2nd. If you've ever dreamed of upgrading your rig, grabbing exclusive show deals, or just geeking out over the latest RV innovations, this is the place to be. We've got 10 rock-solid reasons why hitting an RV show is a total game changer, plus our top 5 pro tips to make sure you get the most out of your visit. So, stick with us because we're about to break down why an RV show just might be the best investment in your travel future. Buckle up, it's going to be a good one. Welcome back to the RV Connects podcast, and 'tis the season. Today we are talking all things RV show. And why? Because we are ready to get set for a number of RV shows, certainly here in Ontario and in your local area as well. The spring is kind of the hot time for the RV shows locally and nationally. And we are very excited this year to be presenting at the Toronto Spring Camping and RV Show and Sale, which is happening on February 27th to March 2nd, 2025 at the International Centre in Mississauga, Ontario. And you can go to thebigrvshow.ca and we'll be giving you lots of tips and tricks today on how to survive an RV show if you've never been, what to expect, and some really good reasons to attend and some of our favorite tricks for making the weekend a good one.
Hello, really excited. We got 10 reasons to attend a show and 5 tips to help make attending a show a really smooth and enjoyable experience.
Great. Let's dive in.
So I'm going to jump in with the first one. I think the number one reason to attend is you've got the largest and most trusted RV dealers under one roof. They're vetted by an association, so they come in. Where I think this really helps everybody is you don't need to spend all Saturday and Sunday driving around checking out each individual dealer. They're all located in one convenient location. You can go and check out a whole bunch of dealers in the amount of time it would take you to drive to just one dealer.
Right. And if I'm not wrong, some dealers specialize in some brands over others?
Yeah, everybody's going to have their own brands. They're going to make sure that there's, as they plan the show out, that there's an appropriate balance of brands and floor plans and types of trailers. So there's a good selection of everything so that not everybody brings the same type of trailer. It's also a really good spot to go for a low pressure environment so that you can ask questions of the dealer. It's a little less intimidating, I think.
Yeah, less intimidating, I think is probably a good way to put it. The dealers are relatively chill, I think I would say in our experience. And if you have any questions at all, they're always super happy to take you around and answer them thoroughly. And you don't ever feel like you're rushed. Like, I think it's a good environment where you feel like, if you've never done this before, or you really want to make sure that, let's say you're upgrading or you're going from tent camping to RV camping and you're really not sure, like no question can't be asked, right? Like, don't feel like it's not a smart question to ask because that's literally what they're there for. And they're more than happy. That's your time to really, ask and get a good answer.
Yeah. And then I think the second reason is there's a large selection of brands, models, manufacturers, everything from pop-up tents, hybrids, travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorized units, Class C vans, Class A buses. There's everything there. And so what that means is it's a really good selection of floor plans. And so in the same way that you can go in and look at a bunch of dealers in one shot, you can go in and look at a whole bunch of different floor plans. And sometimes you're going to see something, you're like, you know what, we never thought of that, but it would probably really work for our family. And it just saves you a ton of time.
Yeah. And I would find that different manufacturers tend to have, their different quirks, their different stamps, their different signatures that they tend to have in every trailer. And one of the things that's great about being able to compare different manufacturers is you can kind of compare construction methods and construction materials, right? you're going to find some that have kind of tiled in showers, and that's what they do in every bathroom. You're going to have ones that are like solid wall or like solid piece showers where the entire shower is one piece. And if you don't want to worry about recaulking or regrouting and you just want something that's easy to wipe down, you know that that specific manufacturer, you're generally going to find the same shower in every model. So I think it's a good way to kind of narrow down some of the things that you like. And one of the great things about being at an RV show versus kind of dealer hopping when you're looking to shop for an RV or you're just kind of considering one is that at the RV shows, you're also going to have manufacturer reps, which is a really good way to get more in-depth information on the construction of these units.
Yeah, and so if you want to know how the frame is put together or the windows or questions about hitches or air conditioners, all of those things, they can explain how something is built. That's what they're there for, right? They're not there to try and push a unit on you. They want to explain how their product is built, and that will matter to you because you'll know how you're going to use the unit. Is it just going to be on weekends? Is it going to be maybe down gravel roads? Like so many ways you can use your unit and you can check it out about how it's constructed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually ran into that when we were down in Tampa at the Florida RV show, and we were looking at a couple of units, and we would notice there's kind of two conversations happening, right? There's the dealer rep that's there from that specific dealer to talk to you, and there's generally a manufacturer's rep, and we found that when we were looking at a Montana fifth wheel, I think.
Yeah, it was, and we were looking at, how does the side porch fold in? And then you're thinking about, okay, how does that prevent water from getting in? Is that a good design, a bad design? Where would we likely be camping? We asked questions when we were down there about like how good is it in the shoulder seasons, maybe the late fall, early winter, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Things like R value in the walls. Manufacturers can also have more in-depth of knowledge of like, well, this model can have this, but this model can have, an R value that's like 14 higher if you're living in a different temperate or something. So or a different climate, sorry. So I think it's a really good add-on that you're not generally going to get when you're just kind of looking around at dealers regularly.
Yeah. I think the third reason is you're going to see lots of the latest and greatest innovations and some of the trends. And so, we kind of know Class A, Class C, travel trailer, fifth wheel. We know kind of what that looks like from the outside. We're talking about the small little features. So when we were in Tampa, for example, we noticed a lot more of the fifth wheels down there didn't tend to have outdoor kitchens. If you were going to find an outdoor kitchen, it was usually going to be on a travel trailer, but not every travel trailer had one. And it felt like they were pivoting away from fewer models with the traditional stove burner type concept, and we were seeing a lot more small griddles on the side, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. Or side and back porches without having to get a toy hauler.
Yeah. I think what's super important, at least for me, but maybe not so much for Dan, but obviously, the aesthetic of the trailer matters if you're going to be spending a long time in it. And what I've noticed is that it's taken the RV industry probably longer than I would have hoped to come up to speed with like design trends. And so we went through this awkward phase of like everything was brown or gold and it was all like florals, brown floors, brown cabinets. And then we had this weird just before COVID and through COVID where they leaned so heavily into that like modern farmhouse aesthetic, that like fixer-upper feel, that it was like too much. It was like if you didn't love that aesthetic, then like your option was like the old style or like farmhouse fixer-upper. And I have noticed now, like I was super impressed and very pleasantly surprised. And I'm so excited to see the models that we're going to see at the Toronto show, because I feel like there's such a huge variety. Like same with houses. Like some people love white kitchens. Some people love, oak kitchens. Some people love dark kitchens. And you're going to find that in all of the units that you see, from the flooring to the window coverings. I think they've really kind of been able to find this nice balance of like feeling like really roomy inside, but also like you will be able to find a model that speaks to your specific taste and style.
Yeah. And just even ideas we hadn't even thought of. We're like, wow, that's really cool. We actually think that's a good idea. Remember one trailer had a bike garage. And so I bet you there's a lot of listeners out there that have electric bikes and, they're trying to find a spot to put it on the back of the trailer and you're worried about getting it stolen. And wow, maybe I should actually be looking for a trailer with that feature, and it would make your life a whole lot easier and you might not even realize it existed. I think what we're trying to say is this year, we go every year to a couple of different shows. This year feels like there's a lot of new stuff. Like the industry kind of kicked it up this year, which is nice. Mm-hmm. So the fourth reason to go is you've got exclusive show deals, discounts, bank financing. you can really start to get the process underway if you want to buy a new unit. And why this matters is, you're going to the show at the very end of February, beginning of March. But when you think about it, the RV camping season isn't too far off. It's only a matter of weeks. And so this is the point in the year where all of the dealers have the maximum selection of inventory. And if you want to start your camping in like Ontario or Canada, or probably even the Northeast United States, it starts on the May 2-4 weekend or Memorial Day, I think it is in the US. And so this is the time to pick a trailer so you're ready to go in, 8 weeks from now. Right? Because they have to prep it, get it ready, all those kind of things. So this is the best selection. The selection is not going to get better.
Yeah, so you've kind of combined points 4 and 5 there. So thank you for that, Dan. But let's jump back to the show deals and discounts, because they actually tend to be pretty good. Like, we've been to the show enough times, like we go every year. And I will generally say we know pretty well, like the pricing of RVs and travel trailers on the market. You tend to find deals at the show where you're like, oh, but if I just wait, like, is the deal going to get better? Probably not. Like, the deal at the show is pretty darn good. So if you are thinking of making that leap, like Dan says, like, the season is just right around the corner, right? So, they do sort of make it worth your while if you want to kind of get in early.
Absolutely.
And I would say we have experience financing a travel trailer. I think the process is relatively smooth if that's something that you're looking to do. You're also going to find, I think, that you're going to get a really good value on your trade-in, because I think the used RV market is still fairly hot and dealers are always willing to talk to you about your trade as well at the show, right? And you can get into that more in-depth discussion about what you have or if you're looking to upgrade, which is also a good idea just to kind of, shop around and see what your trade-in value is going to be worth.
Absolutely, especially on trades. It's the beginning of the season. Dealers are very smart in the marketplace about knowing the values of trades. Demand is high, so this is the time that they want to acquire their trades to make a deal. So it's a great time for both sides of the sales process.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk a little bit about how inventory is stocked throughout the year?
Yeah, so I think on the whole, the industry, especially, and this will apply to Canada and probably parts of the Northeast United States, dealers will place their orders kind of late September, early October into December. They want 5 25-foot trailers. They want 10 30-foot trailers, 6 fifth wheels. They'll place their order based on what they specialize in. Those orders go in the fall, kind of in Q4. They start to get delivered just before Christmas. The dealer's maximum amount of inventory happens between now and, say, April the 15th. This is when all the trailers get delivered. They're all on the yard. This is why you have the biggest selection of trailers to pick from. As the summer goes on, they will incrementally restock a couple of popular models if they're running out of something or something's really hot, but they're not going to do a big load up. They're not going to load up and redo their inventory. And you can see this if you're driving up and down, say, the 401 in Ontario. You'll notice an uptick in RV deliveries. You'll notice anywhere in Canada when you drive past an RV dealership, by the time you get to the fall, it looks kind of empty because they've sold through everything and then they're going to restock. So this is why we say this is your best selection.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So reason number 6 is access to free seminars and workshops from lifestyle experts. So shameless plug for us. We're going to be there. We're going to be speaking on Thursday, February 27th at 5:00. And we are going to be doing a live podcast and Q&A for people on the RV lifestyle. So we talk a lot about being weekend warriors, about how to travel farther on your vacations from work. And we're going to be taking questions about that. If you're new to RVing, or you're seasoned and you're looking to upgrade, or you just want to learn how to travel more when you have some vacation from work and in between everybody's school and sports schedules, come along and ask us some questions. We're always happy to answer them.
And there's so many different ways to RV, and I think that's what's good. This is about the RV lifestyle. There's some people are retired, semi-retired, work from home, and they're on the road more. Like, our kids go to school, the public school system. We have jobs that pay mortgages. Like, we live a pretty predictable life kind of thing. And I think that's how we relate to people. But there's so much there to learn from, whether it's other people's lifestyles, towing information, you name it. So go and check it all out.
There's a lot of great information as well about the mechanics of RVing. If you go and you pick up a show map and the show schedule or just look at it online, you're going to see a lot of information from RV experts, maintenance technicians, people who talk specifically about, tires and towing and hitches and all of that kind of deep mechanical stuff. So if you're into that, it's a great place to really kind of deepen that knowledge.
Yep. And I think like the seventh reason is there's so many activities, entertainment, contests for the whole family. And we'll talk a little bit more about this in our tips, but it's a great spot for mom and dad to sit down, maybe trade notes, think about this. Did you hear what that person said? Meanwhile, you keep the kids entertained a little bit, you give them a break on their feet, and then you move on to the next thing. So you have a bit of a chance to catch your breath, and you don't need to feel like you're being rushed. This is not like rushing through the airport, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. You can sit down and take in some live entertainment. There's giveaways. I know there's people handing out, coloring sheets for kids and stickers. And, so it really is an event that you can take your family to and really take your time and not have it be stressful or overwhelming, for sure. So I would say the eighth reason is actually a really good one. And I would say like the more we've actually camped, the more time we spend in the other areas of the show beyond just where the trailers and the RVs are. And that is kind of the accessories, one-stop shopping, travel destinations. You can look at different RV parks. And so whether you're new in RVing or you're a seasoned RVer, you're going to find some really great information on destinations and even just a whole haul of accessories and little tidbits and bits and bobs you can buy for your trailer.
Yeah, especially, I think there's usually one or two new destinations we want to check out and we add it. Like, I think if people listen to us, they know we don't just camp at provincial parks or state parks. We do some boondocking. We've camped at our friend's farm. We've, been to provincial parks, RV resort, you name it, right? So we've been everywhere. We like to add something new. When you think about the accessories, usually there's pretty good deals. It's right there and it's easy to pick up. So rather than you having to drive, another Saturday for a couple hours or an hour and a half round trip to go pick something up, you're just go and grab what it is you need, right? Don't be, I think what I'm going there to pick up is one of these cool collapsible ladders that I put a picture up on Instagram about a week or so ago. Those look pretty cool, but we've come away with like more leveling blocks and other cool stuff.
I literally have on my list one stair carpet, but our bottom stair carpet wore out, and so I have to replace it. And I actually bought another one last year, and it was the wrong color because I had bought our first set at the RV show. So I'm waiting just so I can buy one little piece of carpet to wrap around our stairs so it matches, because it really bothers me that it doesn't.
So the ninth reason, it's great for newbies and seasoned people alike. So if you're looking at the RV lifestyle and maybe you want to get out of a tent, or maybe you want to stop doing hotel trips and you want to start in on pop-up camper or a hybrid model, it's great for you. You can check it all out. It's all there that you need to know. But maybe you're somebody who's needing to upgrade, or they're moving to the next stage of their life. They're becoming empty nesters. What is the next trailer? It's all there. So you can kind of figure that out yourself as you're there in a low pressure environment with all the information in front of you and touch and feel everything.
I would even say if you're not even an RVer, it's also the show for you, right? Like if you're a backpacker or a tent camper, there's enough stuff there and enough locations there to keep you entertained, right? And to give you what you need for that lifestyle as well. So I would say it's really well-rounded. And I would say the last reason to attend is the ability to connect and network with literally thousands of other RVers. I would say if there's one thing we've learned since we've started this podcast, is that RVing is literally a true community. We have learned so much from the people that we follow. I think people have learned some things from us, hopefully, but it is really a great community of people, right? And if you're just walking around chit-chatting, you'll hear people talking about their favorite locations. They'll ask you questions. Well, you'll laugh together if you see something in a trailer that like is really cool. And it's such a good way to just kind of connect and enter this lifestyle. I would say I feel very lucky to be in this environment, and we're not full-timers and we don't spend all of our time on the road, but I feel like we are a part of something. And that little tidbit that you get of it at the RV show really does carry over to the campground. Like you're not going to find a single campground on earth where, like, if you're having trouble backing into your site, somebody's not going to walk over and like try to give you a hand or, you know, drop off their extra firewood for you if they're leaving early. And like, it's just a really lovely community to be involved in. And I feel like that vibe carries over to the RV show as well.
Definitely. Like, your vacation time is precious. One well-placed tip can just make or break a vacation, and everybody remembers their vacations. You're not going to remember a random Wednesday at work 5 years ago.
Absolutely. So I think now that we've convinced you need to go, how do you make it a good experience? I think we've rallied together and put together some tips that we follow when we go to the show, and hopefully it'll help you. But I would say, the top one is to take your time.
Take your time. You're going to get in. Okay, so this is how Dan goes into the show. He gets his ticket. He walks in with Melina. We see some massive piece of eye candy right in front of us, and we rush over and we go look at it. And we probably look at a couple of things before we're like, okay, let's stop. How is everything laid out? How do we want to do this efficiently so we're not looking at it like a big bowl of spaghetti, and then you're going to go up and down your aisles methodically so that you can see everything.
So before you look at the eye candy, grab a map, grab a guide at the door.
Melina will have the map. Don't worry. Next thing, I don't know why I feel like I need to say this, but having gone to the Tampa RV show, wear some comfortable shoes. We did 20,000 steps at that show. You're going to do a lot less at the Toronto show. But I was surprised at the number of people that didn't come in something comfortable. And your day is going to be a lot more enjoyable if you got a good, comfortable pair of walking shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you're bringing your kids.
Yeah, 100%.
Which kind of pivots to the third tip. Bring your kids. Mm-hmm. It's a family experience. If your kids are going to come with you, bring them with you. That way you can look, touch, and feel and make sure, hey, if that bed folds down and you're planning for them to sleep on it, they fit. There'd be nothing worse than finding out that the bed is 2 inches too short. So bring them in there, touch and feel, have them look at everything. Is the shower going to fit for the tallest person in your family? Because this is a family decision and everybody's going to buy into it if they were part of the experience.
And I think everybody considers all of the sunny days where you're spending 80% of your days outdoors, but we have been on some bangers of trips where it has rained and rained and rained and rained and rained, and you are crammed inside your trailer. So you want to make sure that it is also conducive to, if we are stuck in a rainstorm, are we all okay in this environment or in this layout, I guess, for hours on end?
Or the hottest day in Key West and you're all cramped up inside.
Yeah.
Fourth, maybe plan for a second day. And if you're planning to go in and buy, you're probably going to come in, you're going to get a lot of information, you're going to have a lot of questions. You're probably going to want to just go back, digest it, have supper, talk with your spouse, and then maybe you want to think about going back a second day and narrowing it down and looking not at the whole show, but one or two things that you really want to double check on, ask a couple more questions, and then maybe you want to pull the trigger then.
For sure. And hot tip from us, if you visit the show office, they will give you a free comeback pass. So they also want you to do this and they expect this to be done. Like, everybody wants you to make a good purchase. They want you to make a purchase that you're super happy with and that you're going to love for years and years and years, right? And so you don't have to pay 2 admissions. If you want to come back the next day and pull the trigger and make that purchase, but you just want to sleep on it or talk between 2 units or 3 units, what you want. If you go find the show office and ask them for a comeback pass, they will give you one for free.
And you're probably going to feel a whole lot better about your purchase the next day.
Mm-hmm. I think number 5 on our tips is to really think carefully about what kind of camping you are more likely to do as a camper. And because that's really important to understand what rig will fit your needs.
It is. And I think this applies whether you're a new person to the RV lifestyle or you've got a couple miles under your belt. And even for us, when we went to the last show, we're like, Dan loves Class A's and Class C's, and there's reasons I like that. And Melina's like, maybe we need to look at a fifth wheel, and there's pros and cons to everything. But as we walked through and we talked about, like, what is the next stage of our life? What do we want to be able to do? And we were really able, even with the amount of experience that we had, to narrow down and zero in on what our next purchase will be. Mm-hmm. And I feel better about that.
Yeah. I would say for us, it's super easy to walk in and see, a 50-foot Class A bus and be like, oh, baby, like that's the one. But like realistically, we love national parks, we love state parks, we love provincial parks. And a lot of them are going to realistically have, or some of the older parks for sure, are realistically going to have length limits. So it's like, what do we want to exclude ourselves from based on the length of our unit? Like, how long are we comfortable being? Or do we just want to go a little bit shorter, have a little less space, and be able to fit in every park? We don't even have to look up the length. Like, so we did a lot of talking about that. And it was like, well, what do we want to do? We also love RV resorts. We love like the bougie, like glamping lifestyle where we've got, a hot tub and a margarita bar and a nice pool. But I think it's really good to really talk about like, how are we going to use this most of the time, and kind of aim for that lifestyle when you're considering kind of the makeup and the length and the layout of the rig that you want.
There's no typical RVer. Nobody is doing this 100% right and everybody else is wrong. You're doing this for your family. So it's a great spot to figure out exactly, really, and I mean really, refine what it is you think your family will benefit from.
Yeah.
That's what we mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I will give a bonus tip, because I will just say that the ice cream vendors at the Toronto RV show are like chef's kiss, like next level. Grab yourself an ice cream and just people watch.
Well, I also think Melina knows her husband, and she can sense when he's getting hangry, and she knows if she puts an ice cream, she can probably get another hour out of me. So there's nothing lost on a good ice cream or a snack or a drink, and take a break, and you're going to enjoy the whole thing a whole lot more. You shouldn't feel rushed going through there.
So what Dan is saying is the ice cream rule applies to 8-year-olds and 48-year-olds.
I choose not to answer the question.
It wasn't a question. Well, I think that's it. I'm so excited for show season. I would just encourage you, if you are in Ontario, if you are in the GTA, come on out. I think, the amount of dealers from across the entire province, it's well represented. I would say there's dealers, from Windsor all the way to, Ottawa, Cornwall, if you actually look at the list. So don't feel like it's only going to be dealers from the GTA. I think no matter where you live in the province, you're probably going to have some kind of representation from a dealer that's within, an hour of you.
Yeah, and you got a massive selection at the start of your season to kick off things right and figure out what's good. And I think that's why we all get excited about this. Like, as we're recording this, we got 5 inches of snow since supper time. It's probably 8:30, 9 o'clock, and in the last couple hours, we got 5 inches of snow, and I think we're all ready to get outside to the campfire with a nice starry sky and our shorts on. So Let's kick it off with a good year in 2025.
Absolutely. And I will mention, if you are listening to this is at the end of the show, but we are giving a little bit of a contest alert. If you follow us on our social medias, we are giving away some free tickets to the Toronto Spring Camping and RV Show. All you have to do is like and follow our page, either on Facebook at the Real RV Connects podcast, on Instagram at RV Connects, and there are instructions on all of our socials on how to enter the contest, and we are looking forward to revealing the winners on February 14th. So for your chance to win a free ticket, go ahead and enter, and we are looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Yep, and have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.